Well, hello and welcome to Authentic Voices. This is Chris Boys, your host. I am the pastor of Authentic Voices Church, and I am really thrilled to be able to have my son on with me tonight. So I'm just going to add him to the stream, and I'm going to say, welcome, Nathan. It's really good to have you with us. The lighting's a little bit poor. Sorry about that, folks. How you going, Nathan?
Yeah, I'm good. Want me to turn another light on in here?
Yeah, if you could, please, mate.
No problem. See if I can find one.
No.
That one? This one?
Yeah. Okay. So here we go. That's better. Thank you, son. Okay.
That's right.
So
I just got a can of Coke.
never mind. So Nathan, could you just come a bit closer to the camera for us, please, buddy? Good on you, mate. Look, I really was so touched by what you shared. My son has actually visited me tonight for my birthday. He's just in the other room. But Nate, I'd really love you to share with us. Just start off with the other night when you were having a bit of a challenge and you were actually stranded at the bus stop and you reached out to me for help. And I really felt prompted by the Holy Spirit to of course, help you. I love what you said to me, son. You said, I've had a chat to an old friend. And, of course, you were referring to God. And that really touched me, son. So just share with us about your old friend that you call God. What did you have a chat to your old friend about?
Well, basically, I was originally stranded at the bus stop because I'd been to the doctor about my last muscle, which is another story. What actually happened was that I originally reached out to my mum and Shreve for help, and they wouldn't help. Maybe they're going to see something. But then I reached out to my dad. And my dad actually admitted that he was actually going to leave it and just go to bed, like, he'll be fine. But my dad told me that God actually stepped in and said, no, your son needs you. Help him. And when my dad actually said that, there was just something that just kind of made it impossible for me to actually doubt that happened. And so when I got home, I did actually talk to God like an old friend. I actually spoke to him like I would have spoken to another human. So, and I basically said to God, okay, all right, you got me. I laid down a challenge and, okay, all right, look, you know what? Let's just start again and just tell me this and this and this. And I just rallied off all these questions and I believe he answered me very well. And then since then, I've kind of felt a little bit subdued, to be honest. I've been neither here nor there. And I've just basically been seriously thinking about which way I was going to go. Like, was I going to give God another crack with my life, or was it going to just be like, no, I'll keep faking till I make it? But I realise now that what was really holding me back, was that I was always afraid of being rejected. And I was afraid that, I was just thinking, yeah, I love my father. I was in 2 months, but I was hiding, and I thought, if I hide and I don't go out there, then I'm not going to get burnt and all that. But I was actually at the train station today while I was waiting for my dad to pick me up, and I felt God saying to me, Nathan, I want you to link up with your family again, with everyone you love. And I want you to remember that, yes, they are going to burn you, like hurt emotionally, and you'll burn them too. But love will win in the end. And I realize now that fear is what really held me back. And I thought I didn't trust God, and it's true, I didn't. But I also didn't trust myself either. Like, I wasn't trusting anyone, including me. But now I realize that if anything does actually happen that I don't like, or if God is pruning me or disciplining me, and I'm getting annoyed, I'm like, God, why are you doing this again? I realize now that God is 100% light, so he couldn't possibly be doing it to hurt me in any way.
Wow.
But yeah, I did speak to God like an old friend, and I said to God, look, God, let's just start again. Where were we? Just tell me why you do this and tell me why you did that. Because some weeks ago, I laid down a challenge to God, and I quoted one of my favorite artists, favorite singer, John Farnham. And I said to God, using one of John Farnham's songs, look, Lord, just give me a reason and I'll come running back to you. Give me a reason and show me why I should return. I laid down a challenge to God, and ever since then, he's actually been giving me a lot of dreams, a lot of revelations, and there's even been a few cases of deja vu as well. And ever since all this has been happening, I just feel that, whenever I try to turn away from God, wherever I turn, he's there. And And as much as I want to just throw it aside and be like, nah, whatever, go away. Wherever I go, he just seems to find me. And I realize now that, unfortunate things probably will happen again, but there'll be good things to come anyway. And I realize now that whatever does happen, even if it is bad, it couldn't be as bad as what I've been doing, which was hiding. I was hiding from myself, hiding from everyone, and I actually thought I was hiding from God, but I realize now that he was there all along. And tonight I'm sharing all this, I feel like that fear has just lifted, and it's almost like I've been let out of prison again, and it feels really good.
Well, son, I really was very touched by what you shared tonight. And just to qualify what you were talking about before, there has been times when maybe you have overstated the crisis, or you've blown it out of proportion. And your mum and I, that's your mum and sister. Sharon is actually my second wife. His mother is obviously my first wife. But I just felt there was a real genuineness and a real sincerity in you in this time, and I really felt that the Lord wanted me to help you. But I have helped you many times in the past, and I've always wanted to be there for you, as you know. But I'm just so touched that you've been willing to come on live with me, and you said to me that you wanted to make it a special birthday for me. And for me, I mean, even though my birthday was on the 14th of April, this is probably the best present any father could get, was just to hear you talking about the reality of God. And I love the way you call him an old friend. That really touched me, son. And it's taken a lot of courage, and it's taken a lot of faith for you to step in front of this camera. And, a lot of people do call me on the spot, Chris, and you called me that tonight. But, son, I only do it when I feel prompted, and I felt prompted by the Lord just to let people meet my boy. This is my son, everyone. This is my son. I love my son very much, and, I am his dad. And so for me, this is the best birthday present I could get, is to be able, from my son, is to be able to share this, special moment with you, because we all battle with fear, son, not just you. We all struggle with fear. For you to take this step forward is a big step, and I just really want to congratulate you for being willing to share this with me and with the people that, are not only going to watch this live, son, but are going to actually watch a replay of this later. And I'm really touched that you wanted to, meet my friends, because, the people who share Inauthentic Voices are a part of my life, and a special part of my life. And here you go, son. I had no idea when I did this if anyone was going to join me. So here's a guy, his name is Reese Fitzsimmons. He's based in Melbourne. Great to see a father and son team. Yeah. And here's another one, son. Nathan, I want to encourage you. Romans 8, verse 1. And he that began a good work in you is faithful to complete it. We all go through challenges, buddy. We all go through struggles. We've all been through, difficulties. But no, I've always believed in my heart that God was going to complete what he started in you, even from the moment I held you in my arms when you were born. So thanks, Reese. Reese is actually based in Melbourne, son. He actually lives in Melbourne. He has a wife. He has children. So that's coming from a dad too, another dad. So thanks, Reese.
It touches me whenever I hear that name, Melbourne.
Yeah, Nathan's actually hasn't shared his testimony in great detail. Tonight was just a spare of the moment thing. Thanks for calling me on the spot, Chris. That seems to be my nickname now, Nathan. But it's done from a good place.
On the spot dad to me.
On the spot dad to you, yeah. Good one, buddy.
I just realised, I actually feel that God's wanted me to say something just now. I reckon that God actually told me that when it comes to fathers and the sons, or the mother and sons, that it actually works similar to in footy, because in footy, right, the team gets first priority to the son of a great player, like a great soldier in the team, so to speak. And I actually feel that God actually had first dibs on me, because you and my mum are his servants.
That's a good point, mate. Well, that's how any parent that has a child that's a Christian that serves the Lord definitely looks at it. Like, we don't own you kids. You kind of you're lent to us in a way, and we do the best that we can with you, because you really are God's child, too. Well, you are really God's child, and we're just his vessels, brother. We're just his vessels, son. And You are my son, but you're also my brother in the Lord
I was
too.
once
So.
this high.
Mate, I really felt, even from the moment I picked you up from the train station today, that there was something, I don't know what it was. It was just something different about you. And the only thing I could say just to encourage your son is, yeah, God really is an old friend. He's that friend that's always there.
It's up friend that
always
I
happy.
left, and then he just comes and finds me. I'm like, oh man, I knew you were there. It's like he just taps me on the shoulder. I'm like, oh man, you found me again.
Yeah, well, mate, I've been there too. You're not the only one. And I think you'll find that the people that are listening right now would know exactly what you're talking about. God is that old friend that will come find you.
Sorry.
Do you know Sean, do you?
I don't know him personally, but he's friends with my mum too. Oh my gosh.
Yes,
okay.
yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Wow,
He is.
okay.
Yeah, Sandra Boys is Nathan's mum, Sean.
Whoa.
And here's another one. There you go. Blessings from England. Thanks for tuning in and watching, Robert. This is my son, Nathan.
I've always wanted to go to England, eh?
Yeah, well, Sharon actually. Here you go. Here's one for you, mate. Yep, I was a prodigal. See, you're not alone, son. We've all been there. We've all felt the tap on the shoulder from our old friend God. There you go, mate. So
I was just actually saying, like, I will be honest. I was actually saying that a lot. I was saying, like, God, leave me alone. Let me do my thing. Just go away. But he never gave up on me because he knew that deep down I didn't mean it.
You know what? Because he'll always leave the 99 to come after the one, son. He'll always chase after the one that's gone astray. And, I'm just so glad and thankful that he does that. You know what I mean? So have you got anything else you want to share? There are people watching.
I was just saying that I feel like that with me, it feels kind of surreal. And I feel like I kind of follow in your footsteps as well. Because I know that you once went through a phase where you were telling God to leave you alone, but he still never gave up on you.
Absolutely true, son. And I'm so thankful that he did. That he never gave up on me, even when I'd given up on myself. You know what I mean?
It actually feels surreal. It does. It's like I'm a mini version of you.
You're a what? Sorry?
A mini version of you. This actually feels surreal. It's like, you're living your life all over again, but it's through me. Like, I just mean that it's like, you know what I mean? It's like we're actually winding back the clock, and I'm going back there where you were. It's amazing.
Well, I mean, you are my son, and they say the apple never falls far from the tree, and you do talk a lot like I do, and you actually are.
Because I'm the son of a great man of God and a great woman of God too. So God had first dibs.
That's really powerful. Thank you for saying that, my friend. Thank you for saying that. That really touched me. Your mum and I never gave up hope. We never gave up hope. We always believed that one day you would walk with the Lord.
I will say one thing though, and I'll say this in front of everyone. The one thing that you and my mum will always have in common, no matter what happened, apart from your faith in God, which is most important, is me and my two sisters, Shree and Ash.
That's right, mate, because it's all about family. And Chloe, of course. Don't forget Chloe. Yeah, well, don't forget we've got Chloe, we got Willow, and we've got Declan too.
You mean Josh?
Well, Josh, obviously Josh. I mean, Josh is.
Of course,
can't forget Josh.
He's back. It's like an old ghost or something. He's still alive. Long story.
But I just really felt touched by what you shared about, because we all have those fears of being rejected. We all have those fears, and we all have to overcome those fears, but we can't do it without God's help. You know what I mean, sir? So
that's a good question here. Sorry, I'll say this for everyone too. Has anyone seen the movie Shrek? I know you have, Dave, but has anyone seen the movie Shrek? Because I kind of feel like Shrek in a way. I've been in Olga, living in my swamp, and my house did actually look like a swamp at times too.
Sure.
And I just thought, people judge me before they even know me. That's why I'm better off alone.
Mm-hmm.
Till I found God again. And, it's like till Shrek met Fiona, he was living like that. Strange, I know. Sometimes I actually feel like I'm actually living in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I even feel like my life is a movie in a way.
Mm.
And there's actually been times when there's been times when I actually have had deja vu as well. Mm-hmm. And I've actually thought, hang on, didn't I go through this in another season? It was like a repeat. It
Well, there you go, mate. There you go. Reese just said he loves Shrek, so there you go, mate.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us would relate to being like a bit of a Shrek before the Lord really touched us and changed our hearts, my friend. I know I was a bit of a Shrek there for a while, but yeah. So I think you'll find a lot more people relate to you than maybe you realise, son. So.
Yeah, I meant it as a joke because
I know you did, but I think we've kind
there
of.
There were times, Dad, when you and I both acted like arguers, but at the end of the day, we worked it out and we still love each other. That's all that matters.
That's right. Yeah, but I know I was a bit of an ogre in my day, bit of a grumpy old ogre, But the Lord got a hold of my heart and He touched me and He changed me. So, okay, mate.
Before we went on air, that I'm blown away at how all that has happened.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's. I've sort of been watching you find the Lord yourself in a way that you needed to find Him, and I think that's something as parents is we need to realize that God doesn't have grandchildren. You had to find Him. You had to find Him yourself, or you could say He found you in a way, couldn't you? I mean, in some ways you could say that, couldn't you? He found you, but
so I was going to say, like, I used to read my Bible and pray to God only because that's what my mum wanted me to do. And my mum even said, no, you've got to do this yourself. But you know what started that whole process of me finding God?
What's that, man?
Curiosity. I became curious. And I started looking at the Bible a little deeper. And I just became curious, and I was like, "Whoa, is this metaphor? Was this actually real?" And I was like, "Is this metaphor? Did this actually happen?" I'm like, all these weapons and treasures in heaven, and all this fighting that's going on between angels and demons. I'm like, "Is this tangible? Is this as real as this desk?" I started to actually dive deeper into it, and I just became curious, and the rest is history.
Right.
I started to actually explore not only God, Jesus, and Satan, and all that, but also, where they live, what they do while they're there, and how they're complete opposites, and curiosity.
It's when it becomes personal. That's when everything changes. When God becomes personal, when you know that He is real.
He actually became more.
It just changes everything. Yeah, that's really good stuff.
Because that's who he was. He was just a figure that my mum was telling me about. Really?
Yeah, that's right. You've been hearing a lot about the media and the church and the stuff that I'm doing online, and I just thought, what the heck? I'm going to get my son on and see if he'd share a little testimony. And I really encourage you, and you were a bit nervous, but I think you've done very well, son. I think you've done very well. I think, if I'm allowed to say this, that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, folks. I think my son's done very well. I'm very proud of you. So,
how do you know there's only one apple?
It's got my sense of humor, folks, too.
Well, how do you know? What about the actual apple? Is it red apple or is it a green apple? And how cheesy is it? Because I prefer Pink Lady apples. They're the best.
Well, is it correct?
My mum likes Pink Lady, and I can see why. The Gala apples are not so good.
This is a miracle that I'm watching in front of my own eyes. The story, the testimony. I'll have to get you to come on and share it one day, son. And in fact, you know what? I was actually talking to you a little bit before about how God's really just moved in your life in such an amazing way and just protected you and looked after you every step of the way. And I'm very grateful to Him for that. So I'm just going to...
So I was going to say that there was actually a time when I was actually really, really close to God, and I was seeing visions and everything. There was actually a time when I did know Him personally, and I was actually talking to Him as though He was right there, which He actually is. Like, I was actually talking to Him like I'm talking to you and Sean and everyone else. So there was actually a time where He didn't feel like a being; He felt like another person. There was actually a time when I was that close to Him, and I don't know what happened. Every time I went to Mount Lawley, I guess I felt like a waste.
Sorry, sir.
So
someone asked me if I could share this, and I accidentally clicked on the wrong thing. I apologise for that, my buddy. Keep going.
Yeah, I was actually trying making butter where I was a lot closer to God than I'm now. He was giving me visions and everything. I even saw the supernatural, and like I said, ever since I went and lived in Mount Lawley, I guess I just fell by the wayside. And I was also in that, one slight distraction and that was it. It's been a long road, but I'm just glad that I finally found God again. I just can't believe it took so long.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing with us and sharing our little testimony. And, we'll do it again one day because, just to explain to you a little bit more, son, the reason why it's called Authentic Voices is because I really believe that each and every one of us have something to say because Jesus has made a difference in our lives. And so what I always say is, tell me your story. And so, we all have a story that we all can share for God's glory. And I will get you on to share your story. But I wanted to just get you on to show you what it's like. So this is the media thing that I'm doing. And I get the privilege and the honor of being able to interview great people like my son, you, yes. And I'll get you on one day and you can share your testimony and we'll organise it and we'll do it like for real. But it was a great little testimony and I just loved how you said, I had a chat to my old friend God. It just really touched me. So I'm going to conclude.
It was always following me, just like on the footy field, you know what I mean? You got the ball and no matter where you look, it's always there.
Yeah, that's awesome, buddy. Look, I promise you I will get you on again and we'll get you to share your testimony like in full. But I just wanted to conclude by saying I'm very proud of you, son. I'm very, very proud of you. And I really applaud your courage getting on tonight and just being able to share with the people that were watching. So it is fun, Reese. I love doing it. I absolutely love doing it. So I've only recently got to know Reese. It's amazing the people that I've gotten to know just doing this thing online, media and stuff like that. It is fun. It is fun. And I promise you, I will get you on to do your interview, mate. I'm looking forward to it. So,
hey, Reese, what's Melbourne like nowadays?
You're funny, buddy.
I don't think it's changed that much.
It's not. Yeah. All right, mate. I'm going to conclude the interview by saying thank you for coming on with me and joining me and sharing your little testimony.
Sorry.
I promise you, I'm going to get you on to share your testimony in full again. So this is it. I was really glad you could be a part of it with me, son. Thank you for joining us, and I'll just say a great big thank you to anybody who's been watching. It's been great for you to have you a part of it. Do you want to just say any closing last words before I go, son?
Yeah, I will say this though. All jokes aside, never ever give up, no matter how hopeless it seems. As long as you're still breathing, it's not the end. So always persevere. It's just a matter of, your will make God's will, but God can't do anything to you unless you say yes, but never give up. Like I said, as long as you're still breathing, it's not the end.
And there's a comment from Robert Stephen Hunt all the way from England saying thank you. It was our pleasure and our honour to share with you, Robert. Glad that you got to meet my son and got to hear. It's only a little testimony. I will get him on again one day. Thank you for watching. So thank you, everybody.
For watching. You and I are actually come from England originally, right? You do know that, right? We come from England at some point.
Yeah, and I'm actually married to an English woman. Do you know that?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, mate. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Thanks for watching, folks.
There you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.